The future of Hong Kong belongs to its youth and the young generation. However, this generation, together with the others in Hong Kong, is going through the ups and downs of the society. What is their sense of belonging, as well as hope and plans for the future? Earlier, I got the chance to talk to Gary Wong Chi-him, non-official member of Hong Kong HKSAR's Commission on Children, to find out more. You were on 2 visits to the Polytech University when it was at the center of chaos. Tell me what you saw over there, who you met, what kind of interactions you had with them.
On the 18th of November, I received a mobile phone message from a young person inside the Polytechnic University. She was asking for help because she would like to leave the university, and then she asked whether a group of community leaders, including me, could go into the university and bring them out from the university. So what I have seen is there are a number of young people. Actually, I was dealing with a group of 14 students aged from 12 to 16. So they are categorized.
So obviously none of them are university students.
The groups I was dealing with are mainly underaged children, I would say under 18. Of course, within the universities, there were lots of university students and adults, but I was dealing with those who are under 18 because of my affiliation with the Commission on Children in the government.
So tell me, what did you talk to them about?
I acted as a listener because I think the young people would love to have someone to listen to them. And then I asked them, why did you make the decision to come into the university? Why did you get involved in the protest and social movement? And I think those who are under 15, 14, they didn't really know the crux of the matter in detail. But they felt that they had the responsibility to come out, to get involved in the social movement because of the influence of their peers and the social media. Because they felt that staying at home and watching TV doesn't really show that they do concern the society itself. Even
though they do not know exactly what they are quote-unquote fighting for.
Exactly. They didn't really know the detail, I would say.
So eventually, did they leave after you talked to them?
Well, we spent some time to convince them, and then they left together with us. So the whole exercise I experienced, you know, some young people were innocent. They didn't know the issue in detail. They didn't have the report. When they open up their bags, they say there's only a book inside with a mask. And when we talked, they were very nervous. They said that they wouldn't do the same thing again.
So what do you think have made them to stay there eventually? And now, where are they?
Well, as I said, it was about peer pressure.
Peer pressure.
And the media, you know, phenomenon in Hong Kong, because it's almost every day when you open your Facebook account or Instagram, you have seen this protests every single day or every week, every weekend. So I think every children would have asked themselves, should they go to the protest? Should they be on the ground? Some of them will be coordinated by their friends. And then why did they leave? I think after, you know, certain percent of children, they probably will reflect and learn, you know, whether they should continue to protest or they should go back home, or, you know, and because some of them are very scared after their participation.
You are a member on the Commission on Children. What are some of the exact policies that you and your peers are looking at and suggesting to the HKSAR government now?
Well, we are actually looking at various policies. The first one is how can we develop our children when they were young, and so that make sure they will be healthy physically and mentally. Mental illnesses is a major issue of our children because they are highly stressed. They academically, in life, they feel that they are under pressure. So that is one of the issues we are looking at. Also, there are a number of children who are, for example, ethnic minorities. For example, they have special educational needs. They find it very difficult to be included in our society. That is why we have to build inclusive policies to make sure they are better engaged. And last but not least is about a child abuse case. Because in Hong Kong, child abuse case is quite, is on the rise. And we didn't know why, but we need to figure out all those cases and make sure the children will be protected.
Mm. One of the things people have been asking is that whether there's going to be one generation or even two generations difficulties in order to bring unity and consensus among those who you call children today in Hong Kong. What do you think?
Well, I think we do need intergenerational dialogue. Because for those adults I know, not many of them have experience in talking with children who are on the ground protesting. And when I talk with children, they also find it difficult to talk with the older generation. But I mean, Hong Kong has to be united, and we need to find a common ground. That is why a person like me should be the one who build a bridge between the older generation and the younger generation. So to me, some people would say that young people are problematic in Hong Kong. But I would say that we have no choice. In order to secure a promising future of Hong Kong, we have to make sure they are happy and they are fulfilled. That is why listening is the first step. And I hope more community leaders will join us to do the same thing, rather than keep on blaming them. Blaming doesn't bring us anywhere.
Do you think that has already started?
Yes, and I think the government leadership has reflected. They realize that our youth policy has not been doing well over the past few years, and they realize that they need to have more platforms to engage the youth. Because even the youth told me they want to demonstrate their social responsibility, but they have no proper channel to do it. If we have better platforms to engage them and their voice are heard, and I think it will be better to our governance.
So you're suggesting more social media platforms?
I believe so, because we are living in a 7/24 media cycle. But when we look at our government arrangement, they will get off from work usually at 6 p.m., 7 p.m. every day, while the netizens are very active at midnight. Usually the netizens will attack the government in the evening and at midnight. So if we don't have a 24-hour social media unit per se within the government, I think we will find it very passive. We can't actually proactively respond to the social media and actually engage with the netizens.
There are so many things to do in Hong Kong in order to make things better, but what do you think is the priority and where is the starting point?
I think first of all, we shouldn't see this issue is only related to young people. It should be related to the majority of our society.
Yeah.
I would say for any political leader, they have to look at the interests of the majority. Majority means that over 3 million people, at least 3.5 million people of Hong Kong. So the majority. So I think the majority of Hong Kong people are asking for, number one, affordable housing. They are looking for a better retirement scheme. They're looking for better education, more job opportunities per se. So all these pragmatic issues have to be tackled.
I see.
But of course, political and constitutional reform should be considered. And there are sizable of people in Hong Kong are expecting there will be another round of constitutional reform in the future. So I think it is important, and we have to bear in mind it is not only about livelihood issue. Yeah. It's about livelihood issue, it's about political issue.
People have been asking as to whether those from Hong Kong are having a more superiority look, particularly toward the mainlanders, particularly think about the so-called political system advantage. What do you think? Is it fair?
I think it's 50-50 today. I do believe it's more about how mainland Chinese and local Hong Kongers can be integrated or can be communicated, collaborated easier. That is why we should create more opportunities for these two groups of people to collaborate.
Yes.